Hey guys, welcome back to another episode. Jebber Game and Jaws here. I wanted to talk to you guys today about microtransactions in the video gaming community. And to do that, I'd like to start off with basically a personal story. So, I bought Assassin's Creed Odyssey maybe a month and a half ago. I really enjoy the game a lot. The game is humongous. I've already put 40 hours into it, and I've probably seen about maybe one fourth of the map. And within the one fourth of the map that I've seen, I haven't done everything that is there. There are still many places to discover and things to do. A lot of the gameplay feels very much the same, but the world is really, really big and massive and beautiful. It's amazing what you can get for $60. Now, that statement brings up a whole bunch of other questions though. So that game, the biggest problem that I have with it is I reached a point where it felt so freaking grindy, and I was doing so so many things that were side quests and just exploring. And normally in a game, if you do side quests and you do exploring, you're building up your resources, you are building up experience points. Generally, you're very, very well prepared for playing the main plot. And I reached a point that was very frustrating because I was doing all those extra things and I would try to do a main story mission and it was just too much for me. And I started the game off on normal, which is generally what I will play my games at, unless it's something that I really, really love, which a lot of times then I'll go to hard. But for most games, I play on normal. So what I did was with Assassin's Creed Odyssey was I moved it down to easy, and I was able to play for a few more hours. And then again, I reached the same grindy mode, and that was so frustrating because it's not like I was just skipping all the extra content. So then, looking into the DLCs that you can buy for the game, they have time savers. So one of the time savers that was available was an experience boost, a permanent experience boost. So for everything that you do, you get an extra 1.5 experience instead of what it is normally. That is ridiculous to have to pay for that. It's I found myself in a really hard spot. I don't believe in paying stupid microtransactions. I don't have a problem with buying an expansion to a game. With my favorite game of all time, The Witcher 3, I had no problem with paying for Hearts of Stone and Blood and Wine. They were completely worth it. But to pay to make the game balanced is bullshit. Honestly, it's complete bullshit. And I have never done anything like that. In this instance, I did, and honestly, just lived to regret it, basically. I ended up spending probably 30 some bucks on DLC for Assassin's Creed Odyssey, and so instantly this game has gone from a $60 game to a $90 game. And it just kind of makes you feel like shit inside, you know? It's like, it makes you feel like you're being taken advantage of. And I know that it's my own choices, but at the same time, when I had already spent 60 bucks on a game, I didn't want to just stop playing the game, but it was so grindy that I couldn't continue. Um, it would have just been absolutely miserable trying to play it that way. So I was already 2/3 of the way there. So it was like, in order to get the $60 value that I've already spent, I need to spend the 30 to get these DLC things. And ultimately, it's just something that I wish that I hadn't gotten into to begin with. And going forward, I'm going to be looking a lot more carefully at reviews and because I think that this is something that developers are trying to do to make a lot of money. And that brings up another point. I do not have a problem with developers making money from their games. And I think that there is some merit to the idea that games should cost a little more than they do now. There's a lot of people making a lot of amazing games with so many hours of content, more hours of content than there has ever been before. and the games, the $60 price point. I remember when I was buying PlayStation 1 games, they were $39.99. That was pretty much the common price. Um, and then when the PlayStation 2 came out, there was a jump up to $49.99. And it was like that for that generation, pretty much. And then the PS3 and 360 came out, and those games jumped to $59.99. That was, what, like 2006? Around there, the PlayStation 3 and the 360 came out. Maybe 2005. So it's been like 14 years and games are still costing the same, but the budgets for games have gone up. So I am aware of that and I understand that. I don't like this compensation of just adding in a bunch of DLCs to make the money. You know, if the game prices need to go up, that's a different conversation. You know, if the games need to be $69.99 or $79.99, then that, isn't fun to have to pay more. Nobody wants to pay more for games, but it's ridiculous to literally have the games come not balanced properly and for you to think that you're spending $60 on a full game, and then that's not really the case when you get there. So I am very frustrated with that. I have to say, though, there are so many games still that are coming out that are well balanced, and we have to make sure as gamers that we're supporting that kind of stuff. God of War, it got Game of the Year. It was a completely amazing, nearly flawless game. The game was $60, brand new, and it was a complete package. There was no necessary DLC. It's not like you were missing out on anything. I'm sure that there might have been some DLC that you could pay for if you wanted extra stuff, but it's not mandatory for playing the game. And that is so worth, acknowledging. Like, that's an awesome thing. The way that CD Projekt Red handled The Witcher 3, and their DLC was incredible. They gave out so many free DLCs that most other companies would make you pay for, and then when they did have you pay something, it was like for a 20-hour expansion. So you'd pay like $10, I think it was, for Hearts of Stone, and $20 for Blood and Wine. Completely worth it. They could have released those games as full games and sold them like that, and people probably would have bought them, honestly. So it's just something that I'm very aware of. This experience, as much as I like this game, I would say it's a 7 out of 10. I've had so much fun with it, but that experience of feeling like they're using a back door to force you to pay more than the ticket price has not left a good taste in my mouth. And I will be avoiding Ubisoft games from now on. Like, it's not going to pay out for them in the end, at least as far as me, because the next time that there's an Assassin's Creed game, I'm going to go into it knowing that the upfront price is not the final price. So, I've thought about waiting until a game is like marked down to 20 or $30 and then pay for the extra DLC, so that you're kind of keeping it still the price of admission under the $60 point. Maybe that's a way that you deal with it. Maybe you just avoid those games entirely. I'm not sure exactly, but it's definitely a conversation that a lot of people are having, and I just wanted to get some of my thoughts out there and kind of just vent my frustration a little bit, because it is really, really frustrating to think that you're getting an entire game and then have that not be the case. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Have a good one.